Hello, ELA A30 students. Figured I'd get your attention that way at the beginning of the video. So welcome back. I hope you and your family are healthy and safe, but at the same time that you're also taking the liberty to go outside and enjoy some fresh air when and how you can. We're completing our study of landscapes and, of course, diving into perspectives and voice, all per the plan of our courses. But if you're joining me today, you chose option 1 or 2 for ELA A30 with me, whether we be face-to-face or online. And now we're merging those two classes together, my face-to-face and my online, to create one class because that brings enough minds together who can share some great ideas, talk, develop some group work, things like that. So welcome back to online learning. It's April 20th if you're watching this, and that means that we've got 4-week module that we can begin as of right now, which focuses on Richard Wagamese' Indian Horse. So this is a great novel. One that when I read it, I was like, I don't know if I'm too keen on a novel about hockey. They're usually really corny when you read books about sports with students. And but I picked it up, and his writing style was captivating from the very beginning. In fact, as you read the opening chapters of his novel, while they focus on living in the New Dawn Center, but then, of course, he flashes right back in chapter 2, 3, and moving onward to his childhood. He does recall a lot of time with his family, living in the wilderness, and, of course, escaping capture from the 60s scoop, living with his grandmother and her being a real influence in his life. And then by chapters 9 or 10, we see this transition to the residential school system. If not a little bit later. And then from there into his minor hockey career, his stardom, and then, of course, his escapism. The main character, Saul Indian Horse, is somebody who eventually, by the end of the novel, comes to terms with a lot of the experiences he's had, both positive and negative, and how those have impacted him. So it's a great and powerful novel, so I figured it was worth us focusing our first module on. It's your only novel study this semester because of how the school ended up working out. Usually we'd have 2, one teacher guided and one that's more independent. But this is a great novel. I know a lot of students who can't stand sport or hockey, and by the end are so engaged. I'm going to say 99% of students who read the novel really love it. So I think you will too. The course is going to take a little bit of a different appeal. There will be 3 modules, one from April 20th to May 17th, one from May 18th onward to the beginning of June, and one that closes out June. And in those 3 modules, we're asking you to work about 3 to 4 hours a week. So that means with this module, it's 4 weeks. So 4 times 3 is 12. So a little over 12 hours worth of work can be found in this module. And that includes reading the novel. There's an audiobook option and a digital option enclosed, so make sure you flip through all of the classwork for this module. And as well, there's some small activities in there, some open book novel study quizzes some of you are familiar with. If you didn't feel like you had a lot of luck with Armstrong's War, these are more focused just on content and considering the devices that the author uses. So I think you're going to do just fine, especially if you complete the optional chapter questions. So if you complete those, will you prepare for the open book novel study quiz? Of course. And if you don't get those questions, ask by email, by Google Chat, or we can have a Google Meet. We can meet like this. We can talk. So that'd be good too. There's also, of course, some preparation and some conferencing that'll go with your only essay. You only have one essay for the whole semester, so it's one that's coming up for this novel study. Now, with those activities, if you open up classwork right now and you want to keep this audio rolling in the background, go to the top, go to duplicate this window, and then, of course, go to classwork. And when you go to classwork, you'll see that there is a teacher-guided novel study opening assignment page kind of for all of them. And in there, you're going to see at the very bottom that there's option 1 and 2 activities, and then there's option 1 only activities. So if you chose option 1, that means that you are choosing to take on all the assignments for the semester that remain, and you're looking to reveal your true potential, achieve something more than your current mark, and of course, gain a better understanding by going through some learning motions of skills, content, knowledge, and applying it. So if you chose option 2, you're surveying the class. You want to engage in the materials, but you want to leave it to being participation that is more focused just on ensuring your understanding and maybe taking away some understanding of those key themes from the course. So go through the entire module. Yep, I'll say it again. Go through the entire module. It's 4 weeks worth of schoolwork, and in that are about 5 or 6 small assignments. And in those, you're going to find some valuable learning about both the novel, writing style, the elements of fiction and nonfiction, and of course, recognizing some thematic components from the course that are assisted through, and of course, are assisted by our understanding of conventions and cues of language. So, Otherwise, you're in grade 12. I really hope that you take up this opportunity to seek me out with questions if you have them. Email, Google Chat, Google Meet, phone calls, even. We can schedule a phone call if you really need one because maybe you just need to be talked through something while you're looking and you don't want to look at this bad haircut while you're doing it. That's right. I almost shaved my head, but I didn't quite, so I focused on bad haircuts instead. So I'm going to keep growing it on top and keep shaving the sides. We'll see how long it can get. Anyways, so maybe you just want to do a phone call, and that can work too. Either way, or any way that you want to go about communication, I'm fine with. So keep that in mind. Keep in tune to the course. April 20th to May 17th, I'll say it again, is our first module, which means that you need to go through everything in the coursework, take a look at it, ask questions early if you have them. And keep in mind, too, that while you're reading the novel, and this is something I put in that teacher-guided novel study little note, there are some chapters that are hard to read. I mean, the novel is about residential schools, and residential school experiences, as many of you know, are rooted in marginalization, which means making a group feel as though they're not part of the whole, assimilation, which in those practices took pretty violent and sexualized forms. And unfortunately, that's just a reality of our past. It's a scandal of our Canadian past, something we need to recognize and something we need to come in contact with in a way whereby we get to understand the emotions and psychological impacts. So there are some suggested chapters you skip if you feel like you cannot endure that. And it's up to your discretion. But I feel it's my responsibility as a teacher to let you know that in reading the novel, some of you might find those challenging. So otherwise, I really look forward to connecting with you more. There will be some signups for us to conference with one or two of the activities. Take them, sign up for them, because they'll make sure you're on the right path. Anyways, I look forward to working with you in any way we can in the closing months of school. And if you want to change options from option 2 to option 1 or option 1 to option 2, make sure that's something you're notifying our school about formally by going through the office so that we can make some plans that way to alter your learning plan a bit and make sure your parents are in the loop about that. Okay, take care and good luck in the rest of the semester. Bye-bye.